Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM. Here are our tight end rankings for week number 1, our consensus rankings of Heath Cummings, Dave Richard, and myself, Jamey Eisenberg. And no surprise with the 3 guys at the top. These were the 3 guys that we were saying these are the great tight ends for 2025 and should be great in week 1. Bowers taking on the Patriots, McBride taking on the Saints, and George Kittle taking on the Seahawks. Let's get McBride a touchdown right out of the gate and just not have to worry about that. So hopefully that'll be fun to see.
Perfect matchup for it.
Number 4, though, is our consensus tight end in Travis Kelce. I'm a little nervous just because the situation could be great. No Rashee Rice for the first 6 games. But I'm a little nervous just about the setup taking on Derwin James and the Chargers. Can make this a little tough for him. So you're starting him, no question. But he was my toughest guy to rank for this week. I guess you guys didn't share that same sentiment.
No, I still think target and volume numbers are going to be good for him. I'm not expecting him to make a bunch of splash plays and yards after the catch. Obviously, in the red zone, he's going to get a lot of attention anyway, but I'm looking for him to get around 5 catches, 60, 70 yards on top of that. That's 12 PPR points, what he averaged last year.
Yep.
Figures what he should be able to do this week against the Chargers.
They've got to get him in the end zone so we can do the down on one knee touchdown celebration.
Oh, yeah, we got a new one. Yeah, the engagement celebration. All right, so Heath, the toughest guy for you to rank is Tyler Warren. Dave, the guy that you're starting this week, at least in your suggestion for starts and sits, is Tyler Warren. So why are you having a little tough time where to put him in your rankings, and why are you so confident?
Daniel Jones. No, I won't be that quick, but it's a rookie tight end, Daniel Jones at quarterback, Michael Pittman and Josh Downs already there. I think he can be great. I don't think he's Brock Bowers, but I think he can be great. I have a hard time trusting it week 1 with Daniel Jones.
I agree with the sentiment, but I do think Daniel Jones is going to want to get that ball out fast. And I think the Colts really want to make it a point to get Tyler Warren involved. And so I think we're going to see a lot of targets from him. Daniel Jones isn't going to have time to throw downfield to where Pittman has been over the last few years. And Downs is somebody who could take work away from Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren is going to be used in a bunch of different ways that we haven't even seen yet. I think he's going to end up being a top 12 tight end this week.
Listen, I think the way that the draft process finished, a lot of people are counting on that to be the case. You're concerned about another rookie tight end. A guy that you're sitting this week is Colston Loveland.
Well, I'm actually sitting Warren, too. I mean, he was the hardest guy to rank, but I'm sitting the rookie tight ends. And it's just, again, what is the snap share? What is the target share in their very first NFL game? And for the Bears in particular, against a very good Vikings defense, it will be very interesting.
Will be very interesting. And you said the toughest guy for you to rank was Kyle Pitts. He's a guy.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how far I wanted to move him down.
I'll tell you what, though. We got a couple things that are working in his favor here. First off, Darnell Mooney, will find out how healthy his shoulder is if he's going to play and how effective he'll be. He was awesome last year against this defense, against Tampa Bay. It was the only 2 games where he did something of significance. In his 2 games against Tampa Bay, 11 catches, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 13 targets, at least 15.8 PPR points in each of those matchups. And I think based on what Michael Penix said all offseason, come out and prove it. If this is your buddy, this is your golfing guy. We got the Breakfast Club in Detroit, with the Rams, and now we have the golfing club here with the Falcons. So we could see Pitts hopefully get off to a good start. I agree with you. He's tough to rank, trust me.
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to start him, but could be a fun situation here for Kyle Pitts.
He's easier to start if Darnell Mooney isn't at 100%.
Totally agree with that sentence. All right, couple guys that we're just going to go through the sits here. So you're sitting Colston Loveland. You're sitting Dalton Kincaid. I'm sitting Tucker Kraft. Again, I said this earlier just because he's probably the most prominent name of this trio. Is the history against the Packers, against the Lions, not great, and they were number 1 in terms of fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends last year. Most people are not going to sit Tucker Kraft if you drafted him. You're not going to go pick up the guys that we're going to talk about as sleepers, Chigo Okonkwo, Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange. You're still starting Kraft. I just would lower expectations personally, a little bit concerned based on Detroit getting healthier on defense. Make the case for Chigo Okonkwo as a sleeper.
The Denver Broncos actually saw the 5th most tight end targets last year because nobody wants to throw the wide receivers against him. Okonkwo looks like he's going to play a higher snap share this year as well.
Make the case for Hunter Henry.
I think he's going to end up being one of those best buddies for Drake May over the course of the year, but against the Raiders and those linebackers, I think he ends up being somebody that is a focal point in their game plan.
And Brenton Strange, look, we'll find out how much Travis Hunter plays on offense. We'll see about Parker Washington and Diami Brown. He was very good last year when he got minimal targets. And I think this is a great opportunity against a team in the Carolina Panthers that struggles to defend tight ends. So Trevor Lawrence, we like him. We're going to like some of his targets. Brenton Strange could be one of those guys. All right, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to wrap up the show when we come back with your questions. Ask FFT next after the break. Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM. We got your questions, and we'll help you set those lineups for week number 1. Half PPR, sit 1 out of Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren, or Emeka Egbuka. Dave, that was directed to you, so what's your answer?
I'm going to sit Pollard of those 3 in half PPR.
You would sit?
Egbuka.
Okay, I'm going to sit Pollard as well. Next question. Wisest prognosticators. Well, that's a good way to get us to answer your question. And Adam, of course. Sit 1 in half PPR. Matthew Golden, Tyrone Tracy Jr., or Juwan Jennings.
I'm sitting Jennings.
I'm sitting Jennings for sure right now. Probably still if he gets a full practice in, but it'd be much closer.
I'm sitting Jennings as well. Next question. Would you trade Dak Prescott and Jamison Williams for Joe Burrow in a 10-team league? So receivers are Malik Neighbors, Tedoroa McMillan, Ricky Pearsall, Emeka Egbuka, and Keon Coleman. So would you give up Dak and Jamison Williams for Burrow? I would. Would you guys?
I would not. I'd love what Jamison Williams' upside is. See if you can give up Egbuka with Dak Prescott instead to get Joe Burrow.
I would do it.
Yeah, I think in a 10-team league you get the best player. So I would take that trade. With the 2025 season just about to start, let's see how you have been playing. How long have you been playing fantasy football, and who was the first person you remember drafting? So for me,
I remember my very first pick.
My very first pick was Chris Carter in 1997.
My first pick was Barry Sanders in 1997.
I don't have any idea.
Have you been playing since 1997?
No, I was in high school in 1997. I'm not quite as old as you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually won the first year because I picked up Randall Cunningham and had the Cunningham to Carter.
I think Donovan McNabb.
You were stacking before stacking was cool.
Stacking before stacking was cool. Any more questions?
I had Aikman.
Oh,
he wasn't very good.
Half PPR, 1 running back, 2 flex leagues. Need to choose 2. Xavier Worthy, Tedoroa McMillan, Tyler Warren. I also have McBride and James Cook. So which 2 are you taking for these guys in a half PPR league?
I'm taking McMillan and Cook. And when I said Aikman wasn't good, he was obviously great as a quarterback, but for fantasy, he left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, the names disappeared.
It's Cook and McMillan.
I would take Cook and McMillan also.
Was Worthy on there?
Worthy
I'd start him over all those guys.
Wow.
Yeah, I struggle with that one too. Maybe just play the receivers. Cook could be tough against Baltimore. I mean, that's not an easy matchup.
I think he had about 11 PPR fantasy
He's gonna have to
points in
score.
2 games combined last year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the receivers just to make it safe. It is half PPR, but still. All right, make sure you get those lineups right. Make sure you check out our Fantasy Football Today podcast. We're going to have you covered with everything that you need. Check out today's episode, which is the start sits for the AFC. Tomorrow we'll have the start sits for the NFC. You can find it wherever podcasts are available. Sunday morning, we have you covered at 11:30 a.m. on YouTube only. But, of course, we'll be recording on Friday 2 episodes with our mailbag, and then again on Sunday morning with Fantasy Football Today Express with all the last-minute tips that you need. For Heath Cummings, for Dave Richard, for Robert Turbin, and our great production staff, I'm Jamey Eisenberg. Thanks for watching Fantasy Football Today.